is thrilled to induct Don Michelin into Coaches Hall of Fame. A quote from former head coach and the late Willie May, who's also an Olympic silver medalist. Leadership, dependability, passion, knowledge, character, and integrity are just a few of the words one can use to describe Coach Michelin. Don has served as assistant track and field coach at Evanston for 30 years. He has also spent 18 years as the head boys cross-country coach. With Don as head cross-country coach, Evanston has qualified for the state meet 5 times. They placed 4th in 1999, missing a 3rd place trophy by 1 point. In track, Don has been in charge of sprints and relays for the Wildcats. The Evanston team he coached have won 4 state trophies. The team placed 2nd in 91 and 94, and 3rd in 1989 and 94. His sprint relays have won 5 state championships. As head track and field coach, Don has won 3 sectional titles. Don has been a starter for home meets and middle school meets and elementary meets in Evanston for many years. He instituted a summer track and field clinic for athletes of all ages in Evanston and has taught on sprints and relays numerous times at clinics, including our very own Ithaca's. Don Michelin has had an illustrious career and is a great addition to our Hall of Fame.
It's kind of nice to close out every now and then. I would like to thank Don Helberg and the committee for allowing me to stand up here and be in awe at you out there. A former principal, former retired principal, let me put that in. I've been in front of large groups and graduations, assemblies. It's never been a problem. But I am truly humbled to be in front of so many of my colleagues who coached throughout the years. Jim Daniels, Lionel Poole, John from Danville, John Echo, the CSL, just so many of them. I'd like to thank my wife, Jareen. She's looking down. She doesn't want to deal with this. But we've been together for 46 years. 43 of those years we've been married, and we were high school sweethearts. And so many of our classmates didn't think we would last, but here we are 46 years later. In our union, we have 4 grown children and 11 grandchildren, and my family's right over there. Yeah, wave to them, family. I'd like to thank my track coaches, because that's where it all started. And I was truly blessed because I started out with Ron Hilbert and Willie May as my coaches. And as a junior in high school, they coached me to 9-7 in the 100-yard dash. I then went to New Mexico Junior College, had a fine coach in the name of Ross Black. And in 1971, we won the national championship, and I was All-American in the 4x100 relay. Then I moved on to Northwestern University and had another legendary coach, dynamic. And all 4 of these coaches are in the ITCCCCA Hall of Fame. And then I continued running after Northwestern and had the opportunity to be with Ted Hayden at the University of Chicago track club. And so through each of those stops that I made in my track history, I learned some great things from these fine coaches. I'd like to take this moment to offer a special thanks to my very dear and departed coach, friend, mentor, Willie May. In 1980, he hired me to be a sprint and relay coach at Evanston. Took a chance on me. I was at the middle school. How many times did they bring a middle school person in to coach at the high school level? Then he entrusted me with the sprints and the relays, which always play a huge part of the state track meet. I stayed under Coach Bay until 2003. Had an opportunity to be a principal. I had been the assistant principal, and an opportunity came along for me to be principal, which meant I had to resign from Evanston Township. Me and Coach Bay had been together all of those years, from 80 to 2000. He cursed me out. But he prepared me to do that. When we were coaching one day, we happened to be at the bar and going over strategy. That's why we were there. We were going over strategy. And I had to get up and go. He said, Coach, where you going? I said, I got to go to work. He said, work where? I had a night job. I had a cleaning business. So I would go around and clean doctor's office. He says, you're doing this wrong. He says, I'll tell you what you do. Go ahead and do what you got to do. And then tomorrow, bring me your numbers, and I'll show you what you can do if you go back to school and get a master's. So I did. I brought him what I made in the business as my side job, and he brought me what I could make if I got a master's. And he also told me that you'd be able to retire at the age of 55. Lo and behold, it's a good thing I got 2 working ears and 1 working mouth, because I listened to what he said, gave up that janitorial business, got a master's degree in administration, and just followed his advice. He always put himself in a position to do well, and that's what I learned from him. He never rushed to judgment. Always walked slow, always obtained the data, then made the decision. Sounds like a principle to me. And that's what I did. I followed that blueprint. I'd like to thank Chris Capitino, the athletic director, who went on Willie Mae's recommendation to hire me, plus I was Chris's teacher when he was at my middle school. So that might have something to do with it, but I do appreciate the opportunity to be at Evanston to carry on the legacy. There's only been 3 coaches since 1967 at Evanston Township. Ron Hilbert, Willie Mae, and Don Michelin. And I'm proud to be with those men. I like to leave you with I always like to leave people with something before I sit down. I got these 3 rules to go by. Rule number 1, and I always tell my track teams and cross-country teams, never hurt yourself. You know, we have this social media now, and our young people can sometimes get in trouble with that social media. So we talk about strategies about not hurting yourself. Rule number 2, follow. Rule number. And then rule number 3, because sometimes you don't want to follow rules. And rule number 3, if you always do what you've always done, then you'll always get what you always get. If you don't like what you get, change what you do. And track coaches are good about changing what they're doing if it doesn't. I'd like to thank my assistant coaches who have been with me for a long time. We've been coaching together. George Woolridge, Bernard Harris, Darrell Wilson, Sam White, Zach Hurt. And thank you all for staying, because you could have left. So thank you for that. But it hasn't been met.